Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you this cute little drawer storage box. It is big enough to house 2 full rolls of metallic thread, baker's twine, sorry, inside. So you have 2 compartments there, and as you can see there's just a nice little pulley on the drawer there to pull them out. They sit nice and snug, and it's quite a cute little box. The only downside is you do need to have a sheet of 12 by 12 to make the outer. Either that, or you could maybe fashion a way of doing it so that you have 2 pieces stuck together. I did try numerous times, and numerous times it messed up, so I just went with 12 by 12. And this is beautiful calypso coral, and the DSP sadly is one that is retiring. It's the Sweet Soiree, but I couldn't resist it. I had to use it. I thought it was super cute, and I just went with what I'd got. So I'm going to show you how to make it. So to start off with, we're going to make the drawers. So obviously you need 2 pieces of cardstock, and yes, I'm using Calypso Coral again with this one. I'm still using the Sweet Soiree DSP, but I'm going to go with that nice silvery spotted paper this time. So for the drawers you are going to need 2 sheets of cardstock that are 8 inches by 5.5 inches, and that's 14.5 by 21 centimetres. And you then simply need to score them at 1.5 inches on all 4 sides, and that will be 4 centimetres. So just simply, like I said, 1.5 inches on all 4 sides for 4 centimetres. Oops. And you do that for both of them, and I've just realised that didn't go at all straight, so I'm going to have a quick check of that just before. What's going on? Why are they all going wobbly at the end? Probably because I'm trying to be too quick. That's the problem. So 1.5 inches, oh goodness me, it's done it again. 1.5 inches on all 4 sides. Why those moved, I have no clue. So very simple to make this up, as I'm sure you can appreciate. So you need your bone folder to score those lines. Let's make sure we get the right one here. So we're just going to score those 4 lines, and it is just as simple as making up your box base that you would. Same principle, 4 score lines, 4 corners become your tabs. You cut wedges out and adhere them. So before I go any further, I want to add my 2 squares of DSP to the front of my box, and I'm just checking where those sort of wrong, if you like, score lines were, just so I can avoid them. So I'm going to pop them onto these 2 ends. Where's my snail? I've had a bit of a tidy up and move around my craft desk, and I think potentially it was the worst thing I could have done before filming, because now I can't actually find anything, and that's not the right size. Okay, let's try. That's very odd. That's my neighbour's gate squeaking. Okay, let's try again and trim these down, because that's not right. My DSP, according to my instructions, should be 1 3/4 by 1.5, which is what it is, but that clearly isn't what this box front is. So let's quickly trim these down. So that's 2. So yeah, 1 3/4, and the thickness is 1.5, so it should be 1 1/4. Oh, that's very odd. Just give that. I don't understand why that's not fitting. Am I just being really dumb here? Why is this not working? 1.5, 1 1/4. Oh, that's why, because I'm not actually measuring properly. Oh my goodness, let's try again. I don't actually like doing this when I have adhesive on my DSP, because it does stick to the... Let's turn that round, and I'm just going to get my... I told you, like, you see, this is what happens when you move stuff around and then decide to do a tutorial. So let's just flatten that bit. And then the other bit, let's do this before we put any adhesive on it. So... Right, there we go, and as we were, so pop some snail onto your cardstock and pop it on to your box, and then you can simply, as I said, cut your wedges into your corners, and you can do this one of two ways. Now I've actually unsurprisingly done this one the wrong way. The idea was to do it this way, so don't worry about that piece because it won't matter massively to mine, but if you do it this way, it means that you've got the thickness at the back and the front and not at the sides, which is where your twine sits, because it just fits. But if you're going to start adding another thickness of card, it's going to become not a problem, but it is going to make it, you know, a bit stickier. Right, let's do this one actually. This is the right way, so we'll trim that down there. And trim that bit. See, I'm not with it at all. Not with it at all. That's right. So down the top, and then we trim the edges off. And then just down this one. Goodness me. I think I might start this one again. I would if I hadn't run out of Calypso Coral cardstock, trust me. Right, so once we've got to this point, ignore that, they should all look like this. Once we've got to this point, I've just realised I haven't trimmed these bits, you then need to put your little handles, if you like, on the front. So to do that, I've got my 1/8 of an inch handheld punch, which actually is quite hard to do because you're going through the thickness of the card, and it's better to do it now than when you've actually got your box made up, because then you're trying to fight around the built up box. So I'm just sort of eyeballing the middle, which I'm just gonna pop those in there, and then I've got my Calypso Coral sheer ribbon, which I just need a couple of lengths of. Get out. And then I have a quite thick here and big darning needle, which I actually found easiest to use than to sort of faff about with trying to thread the ribbon through the hole. So I pushed it through, okay, and then it falls out of your needle. Let's try again. So thread through there, then through here. Now I keep my thumb in one end of the loop so it doesn't pull all the way through. I then push my needle through and pull it so that it stops the end coming through, but it gives me all of this space. And I then made a loop through and just tied that knot. Now when I did this bit, I then pulled my needle and my knot to make sure that I was happy with the length of my loop at the front, which I am with that. So I'm going to trim the excess off there and put that to one side, and then do exactly the same with the other drawer. So just feed it through, try not to lose the ends, push it through, loop it, needle there, and then I just tied the knot through there. Nearly pull that, and then just keep sort of fiddling till you're happy. Trim those ends off, and then I did just use good old-fashioned sellotape to secure the end, which is one of those where you can never find the end. So just getting some, and I just want to grab my adhesive scissors, and I just want a couple of pieces of sellotape just to hold this in place. And you can use any kind of tape. I mean, it doesn't have to be sellotape. I just thought it was the easiest, and it's clear so you can't really see it. And I actually also put it, as you would have noticed, over the knot slightly, so it holds the ends in place, but it'll also keep the knot in place, which means it'll keep your bows in place too. And then obviously you can go and fasten up your ends. And yes, I am still using fuse. I still seem to have a ton of refills, even though I'm being as bad as I am for trying to use it up. It still just keeps going. So, whoops. As you can see, easy peasy drawers made up. And again, if you feel that you don't want to overlap the cardstock on the back, you can always trim the tabs down. But there's one little drawer made up. And the other good thing with this is, as well as doing this way, it will cover up that knot. You can either do this before or after, but as I say, I sort of prefer doing it this way because it just holds all of that in place just a little more. So we'll just pop these two ends in, and there are my two drawers made up. And so now I just need to make my outer piece. I have my DSP layers, one for the top and one each for the sides. And then for the base of it, you need a sheet of cardstock that is 7 3/8 by 7 7/8. I've worked this out as best I can with centimetres, and that's 19 by 19 centimetres, which I know doesn't equate to a square on ours, but that's the best way I could do it. So with your 7 3/8 across the top, you need to score at 1 5/8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 5/8, rotate it completely and do the same again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 5/8, which is, if memory serves me right, 4 centimetres, rotate 4 centimetres, and then we're going to turn it this way. So this is the 7 7/8 across the top, and we're going to score at 3 1/8, rotate it again and do 3 1/8, and that is 7.5 centimetres rotated 7.5 centimetres. So you have that funny looking shape. And then, as we do, we fold and burnish those score lines. And then the simplest part to this is these little centre squares here. We're just going to cut those into wedges. So I'm just going to cut down the sides, cut those wedges out. Same this side, cut those wedges out. So that's those done. And so that's what you've got. And then obviously you need to stick your DSP on at this stage. Your top layer is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4, and in centimetres that is 7 by 10.5. And then your two side panels, which I want to make sure I get the right way, are 2 3/4 by 1 1/4, and in centimetres that is 7 by 3.5. I still did this the different way after all of that. So there is quite a gap, but I actually wanted that to look like that, so put the cluster of circles at the far end there. And then, as you've guessed it, you need to put adhesive on. Now, the best way to do this, because if you were to fold that in and then that one and that one, when you come to put your drawer in, you're going to keep hitting this tab. So the best way to do it is to put some adhesive on your tab here, and then on the inside of your top one, and then you fold him onto the back of the bottom one, and then the top goes over the top. and obviously you can't see that tab there, and inside you've got a nice smooth side for your drawers to slide in. So like I said, you want adhesive on here and on the inside, and likewise this side. And then, as I said, so we build this up. Now I find that if you butt this edge up here to this crease here, you'll get a straighter line, because obviously you've cut wedges here. So if you try and line this up, it's going to be wonky. So I butt that up to there. Let me try and fold that over so you can see. Butt that up to there and adhere that. Likewise with this one. So let's see if I can lie it down and do it. So this gets butted up to that line, and then you bring the side up. So there's the bottom with your tabs on the outside, and then you do exactly the same with this one. Bring this edge to this crease, keeping it nice and flat, and then just make sure it fits perfectly, and add your panel down so that it adheres. You might find that you need to push the base in a little bit just to get that straight edge, but there it is. And then you just simply pop your drawers inside, and then you just need to add your twine. How cute is that? So that's those two made up. For some reason this one is slightly higher. I don't know why. Don't know what's gone on there. But that is your box, and like I said, you can stack them together so they can sit nicely on top of each other. And the good thing as well is that with a slight adaptation you can create one for your metallic thread too, and I shall do a tutorial for this one. I didn't want to do it at the same time because it's going to take too long and you'll get bored, so I will do a separate one for this one. But it's exactly the same principle. Box is made in exactly the same way, obviously just different dimensions, but I will do a quick tutorial to show you how I did this one. It's exactly the same. So there are your two cute Baker's Twine storage boxes that will look really pretty on anybody's desk. Hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Hopefully we're going to have some really nice, new, fresh, exciting DSP and colours to use soon. I can't wait to bring them to you. Honestly, I'm so excited. There's so many beautiful things, as usual, with the new catalogue. I just can't wait. I can't wait to show you. Anyway, pop back and see me again soon, and hopefully I can bring you some more fantastic new projects with the new products. Hope you all have a great day, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!